All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Let's Talk Real Life with Miss Data Manning. And we hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for joining us on Awesome Radio 107.5 WECU 1570 AM. That's right, this is Christian Media with the spirit of excellence. All right, thank you once again. We have a awesome show set up for you and we're going to dive right into this. And again, I'm a coach, Vernon Garrison, a certified life coach and companion. And without further delay, this is Miss Nada Manning, ladies and gentlemen, the host of Let's Talk Real Life with Nada Manning. How are you today?
Hello, I am doing well. I hope everyone out there is doing well also. It's good to be here this time to talk about some important things. It is my pleasure to bring to you this subject. Um, I think we might have hit on it a little bit before, just a tad, uh, but it is about the fathers, and the topic is father absence, young adult males, and crime. Now, we have talked about father absence before, but we
Yeah.
never tied it into the young adult males and crime. So that makes this topic a little bit unique. And the content that we plan to bring to you tonight is regarding the first question I have is how and why are fathers so important for the conduct of their children, especially young boys? Why is that so important? And how is it so important? And we're talking about today's time. And the reason why we want to talk about this, folks, is I believe I mentioned maybe the last time. School is out, and young adults, girls and boys, many of them don't have anything constructive to do for their summertime being out of school. And truthfully speaking, because we are talking about real life, truthfully speaking, this is the time that crimes are committed within the young population. Not that it's not done throughout the rest of the year, but during these months between June and September, you find that the young people, many of them are bored and they get to thinking about things and they want to try things. And hey, we got a great idea. Let's go do this, that, and the other, not realizing the consequences of what could happen with whatever they're deciding to do. All because many reasons, that some of them just don't have anything else to do. So they're trying to find something to do. So with their young minds and young hearts, things happen. So let's get into the first topic about how and why the fathers are so important in the conduct of these children. Now, we're focusing on the fathers, not that moms are not important, but the focus is on the importance of the fathers being in the home or in the presence of their children, in the environment of their children. Number one is the role modeling and character development. We're talking about the young boys now. Doesn't exempt the girls, but let's focus on the boys. Okay? Male responsibility and achievement under this role modeling and character building. Now, male responsibility and achievement. A lot can fall in that category because the male is supposed to be the dominant person. Okay, the male is supposed to be the leader. The male is supposed to be the one that's setting the tone for the rest of the family. Now, I have six of these. I'm going to go through them, but I
Let's
believe Coach
let's
is going
let's
to have
let's
something
let's
to
chop it
address.
up a little bit. Don't go through all
Yes.
six of them because I got something to say right now.
Okay, can you hold that thought?
Yeah, I can hold it. I can
Okay,
hold it like I gotta go to the bathroom or something, but I don't know
okay,
if I can make it through six because I won't forget what I'm gonna say.
okay. All right. Coach wants me to just go through a couple of them. Okay, male responsibility and achievement, how to be suitably assertive and dependent, and how to relate acceptability to the opposite sex. That's what the male can do. That's what the father can do for these boys. Show them responsibility, show them how to achieve things, and it comes better from a man. How to be suitably assertive and independent. Now, you want to be independent because, again, you're training up that young boy to be the lead of his family one day. So you want to be independent of taking the responsibility of yourself and how you go about doing it. So go, sir.
You know, my first impression as you opened up the topic, I look forward to the impressions that I get of myself and what we're actually doing on the air talking about these subjects. We edifying people? Are we telling them how to live their lives? As one of my friends said, "Oh, you still doing the radio show telling people how to live their lives?" You know, um, my first impression of what we're doing here is a bit. Let's say we were all in a private room right now. I want to huddle everybody into this private room. It's disheartening for us, for me to get on the air, to even talk about myself, or even talk to other men to define what father means in the home. So unless we preaching the word of God or something, and that's giving out mandates where the word takes precedent, or we're talking about good ideas of how to win, how men could win the lottery more. Why are we sitting here talking about how men and trying to teach each other and edify each other and beg each other and plead for a man to take care of a children, which is a child, which is his biological responsibility? We don't need to be animals with instincts to fulfill our duties. But it's seeming that, I just got to get past this point. I'm about to do a show to say, men, fulfill your obligation. And if you do, the world will be a better place. That's sobering. It's a bit embarrassing. It's surreal that we are saying this. And I just wanted to not diminish the show, but I just wanted to say, I want to talk about what we're doing, not what we don't know how to do. I just pray. Well, then again, maybe men don't know how to take care of children. Maybe men don't know how to take care of or raise a family. Maybe men don't know how to take leadership. And then that's another show on why. Why? Now, I don't enjoy, that's why I got out of, I'm going to be personal. That's why I got out of detention center, the jail, maximum security. Because having to lock men up, close the door and let them stay in there like they in some, extreme time out. And a lot of them would be doing this large majority of time of their life. I just couldn't, 5 years was enough. So now here I am on a radio show saying, men, take care of your families. Get them kids in order. Educate them. Be a role model. The answer is not coming to me, but we're going to chop it up. But I wanted to take that moment to say, if this is where it's gotten to, then there is something spiritually wrong. There is something physically wrong, mentally wrong. Thank you for that moment. But your subjects are on point to character. Oh boy. I'm going to say something about character. When I was growing up, you didn't have to be perfect for me to look at you. If you were breaking the rules, that didn't give me a right to break the rules. If my parents were drinking, that didn't give me a right to drink. So that's what we're looking at as far as character. Because I know I'm the student and they're the parent. So I'm trying to figure how these children nowadays are like messed up because they see their parents do something messed up. That's crazy. But character, that's number one. Is it monkey see, monkey do now? Or is it I'm the parent, I'm not perfect. You do as I say, not as I do, because we're striving. I'm gonna let you jump back in because I'm a bit emotional. Hey, it's just not right. It just don't feel right.
Okay. I think I'm hearing you say that the question is, why do we have to get on the show and tell men or fathers how to be fathers and how to be a man and be responsible and all of that? My answer to that is, as a woman, because they weren't taught at home. Somebody should tell them. The proof is in the pudding in society today, how the children are that don't have their fathers at home or in their lives. The way the crime, and that's what the subject is about here as we talk about this show, is about the crime that's developing and has developed among the young men. Not that the girls aren't doing anything, but it's predominantly the males. And you're saying, why do you have to get on the show to talk about this? Because somebody needs to step up and tell them. Now, they can turn us off. They don't have to listen to us. But I pray that somebody will be able to gather something from what we are saying. It's necessary for it to be told. That's the reason why it's necessary. And the proof is in the pudding and the way we walk around every day in these streets and see these young boys. And like you said, you were in the prison system to see these young men being locked up. And 9 times out of 10, if not 8 out of 10, those young boys or men that's locked up had some type of domestic something going on. And their minds went south. They didn't know what else to do. They were twixt in between, some of them. And some of them were just out there in the wrong crowd. Why were they out there? And there's a whole lot of whys. Well, why were they out there in the first place? Well, why weren't you doing this? Or why didn't you have a job? Or why weren't you in school? And where was your parent? All of these questions is real. That's why it needs to be talked about. Now, I'm looking at it from a woman's point of view. As a man, I expect you to see it a little bit differently. But as a woman and as a mom, it starts in the home. We've said that over and over and over again on the show. And reality is somebody has to say something. So why not let it be us? Why not let the Lord use us to get that word out there so it can touch somebody's ear? That's my reason for saying why. Why do we have to go there? Because it's necessary. It's needed. Obviously, they're not getting it wherever else they're supposed to be getting it from. So let us be mom and dad.
Well, I'd say for sure, there's a whole lot more that get it than don't. Okay, for those that are watching, everybody ain't crazy. I can hear you screaming right now.
And some of them are saying, I don't need you to tell me how to, well, okay, if you don't need us, then look back and look at your family, look at your environment, look at your household. Something is going on. The house is not in order. If you don't need nobody to say anything to you, then your house must be in order. And 9 times out of 10, or 9.5 times out of 10, the house is not in order. Something is wrong. Something is amiss in that household for that young man or those young boys to be doing and carrying on the way they are. So it's not in order. And I'm not saying mine is in order. I'm right there with everybody else. We all just have different kinds of orders that's been misleading in the home. Because there is no perfect home. Why? Because there is no perfect parent. So we're here to help one another, to guide one another, to lead one another. And as older people, as seniors, we are supposed to be guiding the younger crowd, the younger parents, to a different direction. Somebody needs to show that they care about these young folks and these young parents out here. And that's what I have to say.
Crime is in itself a part of young adult life, delinquency, especially in young males, and it's tied to family instability. My next revelation in this show is, why aren't we promoting family and family structure, even within the Black community, even within our social realms, even within the city. You know, we've had campaigns throughout the years, uh, take a bite out of crime, just say no to drugs. By the way, there was a campaign that was proven ineffective as long as it ran for years. They had McRuff, whatever, I think the drug dog, the cartoons and everything that went with that.
Yeah.
I didn't say that it didn't matter. Okay, I'm a criminal justice major, but I can say that, you know, campaigns that we go on get everybody's attentions at times, and the subliminal messages that go into them, they don't know the results until some years later, as if, you know, if it changed people's lives. Another program that they put together was called Scared Straight. I read some results off of that program, and students or young adolescents or children would go through the prison system, and the men in there, I'm sure everybody knows what I'm saying, so I'm just dragging it out, but the men in there, the most violent criminals in there, man, what you doing? You better get right. You gonna be in here with me. I'm gonna make a little girl out of you. That program, you would think would work, but I read some reports that it's not effective in deterring young people from committing crimes. Now, I'd have to go and get that report. So somebody would have to send me an email at coachgarrisonoffice@gmail.com, and I'd have to research that because I said it on air to show you where I saw. But there's reports and studies everywhere, and not all are made or created equal. So I just said, why isn't there a family campaign in Chicago with this research that we're using for this show? Basically says in certain neighborhoods in Chicago, the crime rate is based on the stability of the family. So the same thing I was saying about marriage, you preach about marriage once every couple of weeks or months. You have a marriage seminar once a year. I think marriage and family, I'm not trying to say that God ain't telling the ministers to preach a certain subject, but that institution of the family, that needs to be, I don't know, maybe they should have family night every week and get a message about how you conducting business in your family. Is it God's way? Is it, you know, not getting into the business, but that marriage needs to be strong. That, I don't know, it needs to be built, added to, and nourished every week. And I know some people say you're supposed to be reading the word of God if you are married and cherishing your wife and your family. I'm just going to tell you, it don't work like that all the time. You get mad or you get frustrated with life. These people, some people don't have, the single parents don't have all the time that they are afforded because they are working. This is what we have to do. They're job dependent anyway, but they working. And then they gotta work on the side, either their own part-time business, real estate, you know, car wash, babysitting. They work double. So the time is a factor. Whew. So what I'm saying is we got to deal with the things that's making the family unstable. And we also got to make the family the number one issue in a community that is laden with violence. If you have one, the crime rate will go down if you nourish families. Mayor, sheriff, chief of police, probation parole.
How do you nourish a family?
We gotta have to do some campaigns. Family first. This, that, and the other. We gotta do these festivals. They gotta be a truck out there saying you want counseling, you domestic violence, you want to learn how to stay together. You give out welfare checks for people hungry. Give out therapy, family therapy stuff. Now I'm getting somewhere now. Give out therapy opportunities or marriage counseling opportunities for families. Just put it in the school system that you are beloved. The incentives of you being married should be incredible. Give out tax breaks. Give out free houses for people that's married over 20 years. I guarantee you they're going to stay married 21 years to get that house. But I'm just saying, if these two are so related to each other, stable families, and the crime rate. Now, there are other things that affect crime, as this study shows. Poverty. There's a couple of more things. Opportunity, to me, affects crime, whether it's poverty or not. If you got racism in your city and your name is Lamar Jackson and you got to fill out 40 applications because your name is Lamar, but as soon as this guy this past week they put in the national news, he put his name in there. He used his black name, but then he changed his name to like Theodore Roosevelt or something. And the same company that he had put in 5 applications for hired him when he changed his name. Now he is suing them for discrimination, and rightfully so. The person did not want a Lamar because they profiled and thinking he black. But when he changed his name to somebody like
Stanley.
No, Stanley black. I ain't never met a white guy named Stanley. That's good though.
Show.
I got a cousin named Stanley. Robert. Trigger.
Okay. Trigger.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Whatever it is, the young males' names are. Y'all, okay, put it in the post what some of the white guys' names are. I can't remember now. I'm just messing. I'm just into my feelings right now. But yes, so male responsibility when it comes to opportunity is stretched out, and you've been working 14 hours, just like your great granddaddy did. But boy, when you come home, your children got homework. You ain't studying no homework. Or in my case, I would have been glad to do more, even more with my son's homework. But he had gained such an independence from his mom, and she didn't want me to hurt his feelings by telling him something wrong right. So she got in between me and him and didn't want me to check his report card. Didn't want me to check because I might say something that hurt his feelings.
And a lot of couples are going through that. Just that.
So stop it.
Yeah. A lot of couples, a lot of mom and dads, the children get trying to get disciplined by the dad, and then mom steps in and want to be just the opposite, and not realizing that she's doing more harm than good for that young man. That young man is a young man. He's not a girl. I know girls are being taught now how to be independent also, but not the same as the boys. Let the boys be boys. Let them grow up, and they're going to have some hard knocks. And mom, you first of all, you're blessed to even have dad in the mix, okay? And those of you who know that you have dad in the mix, don't give them a hard time when they're trying to, back in the day, they call it chastising the young man. Because it's only going to harm him in the long run. And it's going to come back and bite you, mom, because dad is trying to keep peace in the house. And mom is saying, oh, that's my baby. The baby is now 15.
Mm-hmm.
He's not 5. He's 15.
If you moms would know that child is always going to be your baby, and because of what I might say to him or her, that is not going to disenfranchise you. In fact, I saw a lot of young college students come to jail that had never been touched in their life by an officer, never have lost the right or lost their freedom and lost complete, had the sense that a officer could touch you, move you, put you where he tells you or she tells you to go to. The shock on their faces says that this person had never had a spanking. Maybe that wasn't true a lot of time, but never. But see, and corporate punishment was applied in our day, spankings. I don't think it should be. You should be doing a lot of spanking now because the children are a different breed. They're not built like us. You'll break something in them little children hind parts, and our hind parts didn't break. You leave them in the car for 15 minutes with the window up. DSS gonna show up right there in like 3 seconds with hot car allegations, and then two, the children just gonna faint. They're not going. They ain't built like we are. They didn't roll in the grass, so they're allergic to everything. And let me stop before I get in trouble. But I'm not. You can't whoop kids nowadays, and you shouldn't, because their whole world will be crashed. They'll have to go to see a psychiatrist just because they got a spanking. And some of the children that grew up without some type of structure or disciplinary structure are as equally abused as some of us was. Yeah, we might have got beat with a tire rim, a tire tube, but there's some positives to that. I don't know what they are, but there's some positives to that, getting popped on the lips when you say something you ain't supposed to say. Well, if you don't have some type of punishment and order, those children just might come out entitled, and then they might be suicidal when they go to jail. You got to watch them, because their world about to fall apart. They didn't know another human being could touch another human being. Make you put on some drawers that 10 other inmates done wore, or a jumpsuit that everybody else done had on. Whew. So the way you discipline your children is a window into the future. But as long as we got laws that say we're going to put these bracelets on you, them handcuffs on you, when you don't obey the social construct, you better teach your child somehow that they can lose their rights. And it's not the end of the world if they do get arrested. Yeah. Oh, wow. You gonna get a paper gown, buddy, because you might hurt yourself. I'm sorry. I was doing a skit.
I think that everything you said, it can not 100% be resolved, but I believe a big dent in it would help if the family would take some time at home and have a roundtable discussion once a week, not every day. Unless the child want to talk every day, then of course let the child talk.
Yeah.
But have a family roundtable discussion about whatever the child want to talk about, or whatever the parent want to talk about. If that child had done something that required some discipline, and this is something I did not do, and I have to admit it because we're talking real life here. My name is Nada Manning. This is Let's Talk Real Life show, and we're talking about things that really, really happened. I did not do everything that I'm saying I should have done, because why? I never said that I was a perfect parent. So, and I can only talk about me as a parent. And what I believe would have been a good thing to do is to sit down. We talked, but I don't think we talked enough, because is there, now if my youngest son was on the line, he would come right out and tell you, Mama always told me that I talk too much. She would never let me say nothing. She always wanted me to be quiet. And I would say to him, I said, why do you have so much to say, son? You overtalk your brother all the time. And he said, well, Mama, he don't want to talk, so I'm going to talk. I'm going to say it. And I said, okay. And I'll listen to him and give him some time. But this little boy wanted to go on. He'd take over the whole evening for hours. Now, apparently, there are some children that are like that. And I'm not saying that I should have given him hours and hours, but perhaps I should have given him more time than I did to express himself, is what he was doing. All of this is about the roundtable discussion that I'm saying is missing in the household. If the children take time and sit down with the parents or whoever is in charge of them, auntie, grandmom, sit down and talk about some stuff. The children today don't get that time. The parents don't bother to have that discussion. So they go on thinking and getting their ideas and thoughts from their buddies and the friends and the neighbor down the street. And so I'm thinking that that would help if the families would take time to talk about some things inside the house, not out there on the porch, inside the house.
But you think you go to sleep because you think that they're soaking it up if you're on a family trip together, if you're on weekend outings, which I did all the time, spending time together, fishing, playing basketball, boys and girls club, conversations. You think you are doing what you just said. Now, I got to confirm what you just said. If I had it to do again, now in the latter part of my marriage, I had when it was leaking oil, gas, wheels squeaking, wheel about to fall off, hole in the roof, window won't close. It was on life support. But I started a lot of those things to try to revive it and say, we're going to meet once a week. But by then, my son was gone. I thought I talked enough in the house, but sometimes people will look at your faults more than they'll look at the things that are better than other families have. I think I won the title, if you will, as the greatest dad in the whole trailer park we were living in, because I was the dad to a lot of, and I didn't know it, but my son told me one day, he said, you were the dad to all of us that was in that trailer park, or to all the children that didn't have a dad. When they were all at my house or playing with, and we were doing stuff, but I wasn't, trying to play that role, but that's what happened. Right. And I see those young boys, some of them, see me now today. Yeah, Mr. Garrison, man, you ain't changed a bit. So, and I, I see the residuals from that. So but if I had to do it again, if I was a young marriage right now, oh boy, we're going to meet once a week. I'm going to hear what you got to say, because you're not coming up on me 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and it can happen. Well, you remember when you done this and you did that and you said that and what? 10 years ago? Yeah, my voice went just high. What? 10 years ago? Yes, gentlemen, what you say 20 years ago, what you say can and will be used against you in that court of law, even if it's past the, what you call that, the jurisdiction where you can be arrested. the statutes of limitation for whatever crime you commit, there is none. You will always be accountable for what you did. So you should meet once a week, ma'am. Just open Robert Rules of Order. The meeting come to order. You got your little girl there. You got your little boy there. Let this meeting come to order. We're going to approve the agenda. Do it just like that, because them children are going to know whether you were there or know whether you were not there, know whether you told them you loved them. All of this, when they get 14, 15, and then they're either going to try to go out and find another little boy to do what you were supposed to do as a daddy, or they're going to make all kinds of excuses. Well, you didn't love me. It's called father hurt. There's a show on Awesome Radio. I heard it yesterday where they were interviewing a lady talking about father hurt. And children are hurt because something their father did or didn't do. So men, women, if you want to be so bad, before you rush out of here and leave your husband or he leave you and say, I had to be the man and the woman. No. Be the man and call that meeting and make sure everybody say what's on their heart. And then you and your husband meet after the meeting. That's going to be fair. And you hear what he got to say and you say what you got to say. So you brought up a good point, Ms. Nader. Have those meetings. But I think if the sheriff, I think if the president, I think if the mayor will say families, strong families are connected to the crime rate, then there's some police officers going to lose some jobs because if I might run for office on that. We're going to build some strong families. Well, I'm halfway between Craven County and Pitt County, whatever county it be. I might need to get a statewide office. We're going to build some strong families, period. Family this, daddy this, mama this. If you ain't got no daddy, it's going to be granddaddy and mama working together. You all spending granddaddy money anyway. That's why the Gen Zs are scared to become adults, because they don't see an office of a father as being anything. Oh, shucks. I feel like a Baptist preacher now. The Generation Z, who are little bright-eyed 21, 22, 23-year-olds, whatever, they looking out. Do I want to take care of a woman? Do I want a family and take care of children? No, I don't want that mess. You ain't going to do it but get divorced. And she going to take half of
That's all they know.
Man, you better stop me.
That's all they know. That's why they would say that. That's why they would have that attitude, because that's the environment that they have grown up in. And no one has taken the time to tell them and talk to them about the way things should have been or could have been if all the shouldas and the wouldas and the didn'ts and the don'ts. That's part of this discussion. Now, I'm not saying that it's something that I think after you do it a couple, 2, 3 times, the average child will be looking forward to having the discussion again next week, because something is always happening. And if you put it out there right, you make it interesting, have some pizza. It don't have to be sitting up straight like they're in school and can't talk.
Yes, it do.
Huh?
Yes, it do. Because discipline got to be in there somewhere. Eat your pizza with a fork. Do something. You got to do something militant. Or if you keep giving these children so many options, they think everything is an option to follow the rules, because there's so many of things.
Have the pizza first or have the pizza afterwards. What I'm saying is you can have some discipline, and I think I know very well about discipline.
I know what you're talking about. I'm just messing with you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah, it needs to be some kind of formal environment, because right now I'm in a situation right now. I need to calm my son down on a couple of things, and he's 30-something years old. But 30 is the new 20.
Yeah.
They don't.
And they still learning too. Don't care if they're 30, 35, 38. I mean, 40-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway. you killed it there. In the research, they talk about unreportedly the health of our most basic institution, the family, is intimately related to safety. Intimately related. Why is criminal justice officials using the word intimate? Did they expect the leaders to define what intimate is? The pastors, the city leaders, your boss at work, does he supposed to say now that you need to have a family with intimacy in it so you can come to work on time, so you won't have to go and spend your extra money getting your son out of jail? I mean, it's easy to connect the dots, right here on paper. But I know families are struggling, and I know children have been abused. I was in Garden-Lightham for 6 years, working with neglected and abused children, volunteering in the court system, recommending which parent the child should go and stay with. So I know what's happening, but still, nobody told me that the family is the determining factor in the crime rate. Now, maybe that's just happening now, Maybe it wasn't like this in the 90s.
Maybe it's coming to surface now because of the environment we're living in. Back in the day, the environment wasn't like it is today. Now there was problems, yes. There were issues going on within the family, yes, but they were handled differently. You just said earlier about how the children back in the day would get beaten or getting spanked or get popped in the mouth. You know, that was during my time. I'm still here. I didn't get no broken bones or anything like that, but that's the way they disciplined us. And today, you may as well get ready to go to jail. And who made that rule? That means you are not in the position, parent, to discipline your child, or you find another creative way to do it. Well, if you can be as creative as you want to, as long as it's something that's going to stand, because the child is going to take advantage. I think I've said that before, how my son came home and said I couldn't beat him no more because the rules changed, and I can call the police on you, mama, and you're going to go to jail. And my response to him was, if I go to jail, then who's going to take care of you? Where you think you going? Grandma can't take care of you because granddad is sick, so grandma got to take care of granddad. And I'm the oldest child, so your aunts and uncles can't take care of you because they're too young. So where do you think you going, buddy? So go ahead and call them. And while you dialing the phone, I'm going to be tearing your behind up. How about that?
You can't beat the people when they're talking 911.
While you dialing 911, I'm going to be working on your two cheeks back there. And so now you have something to go. When you walk away, you're going to walk away in tears. And then when you get to wherever they take you, your tears going to dry up. And then you're going to realize, oh, where am I? And who are these strangers that's going to be taking care of me? Guaranteed they won't take care of you like your mama did. And loving you and disciplining you and clothing you and all that. They're not going to have the same feeling that your mama have, because don't no child have the love of a parent like the mama. Okay? Did I say that right? The mama loves the children. The mama loves the children. Not that dad don't, because I don't want to talk about mamas anyway. We're talking about dads. Well, dads can love their children too. They can love up on their children just like the mothers can.
For the
all
people, Go ahead. Finish your statement. Yeah.
All we're talking about is how these children can be cared for and disciplined in a respectful manner, so that they can grow up and not have so much yak, not so much mouth. But that's where the father comes in, because the father and that boy, you can tell, listening at us right now, you and I, you the dad and I'm the mom. The child come in the room, come in here and start talking, knowing that I'm having this show right here. Dad can come right in and say, with his voice, it don't have to be loud. But let mom try to say something. It's just, but dad have that effect. Getting back to how effective the dad is, being a role model, developing that character in the child, knowing who you can listen to, child. The father has that role.
Well, there's one group of children that, and for the anti-discipline group that may have stayed on the show this long listening, but there is one group of children that is considered an LBGT group. The studies came out that the discipline that was put upon some children, I think probably Generation X, which is my age group, or younger, or probably Generation X, maybe not the millennials, possibly the millennials. They didn't change because they got beat when they was putting on the little girls' clothes or acting mannish or acting, like the opposite sex. They did not change because of the discipline that was bestowed upon them. And they do even make reference to snatching them up and taking them to the pastor to get the demons cast out of them. A lot of that methodology, it didn't yield results. So that was just one aspect of saying how Black America's discipline in a lot of ways, like we're talking about the corporal punishment model, did not work in some families or in a lot of families, but especially that population that I was just referring to. Um, so it's probably worked best in a community where the culture was like that. You know, you would get disciplined if you were down the street, if you was at somebody else's house. You know, it probably worked better as a culture. But there are some people that it did not absolutely work for. In fact, they saying it had adverse effects when they became adults because of certain aspects of, you know, why they were beat like that. But in order to do, I know you're gonna
There,
say something. Go ahead.
well, and I want it to be known. I'm not talking about merciless beating where
No, I
blood
know.
was running, skin was peeling. No,
Well, I am.
no, that's not what I. No, no, no,
Well,
no.
no, I'm just saying they didn't know. See, in order to do corporal punishment, the child got to know what they did. They absolutely got to know that they got beat. Like when I peed on the bed, I got beat before because I peed on the bed. That to me, that was the dumbest thing the dumbest beating I ever got because I didn't know why I peed on the bed. I had no idea. I'm getting a beating, right? Oh Lord, boy. The next time y'all see me in the grocery store, you're gonna be like, "Dad, no, boy, Vern was a pee boy." I didn't mean to
You're
say that,
not the only one.
but I
You're
gotta,
not.
I gotta bring it out. To whoop me because I peed on the bed was not effective. You're too lazy to get up. You no, of course not. You just don't know that you did it. So that's what I'm saying. An incongruent type of discipline, meaning you don't know why you did it. At the times that I got in trouble, that I knew what I did, I knew why I got beat,
Yeah.
and it worked.
Okay. You're talking about something that happens unintentionally,
Yeah,
like
well, you know, if the
wetting.
child don't understand, like the gay community, if they wanted to put on the little girl's dress and the dad walked in the room and caught them cross dressing, they would get beat for it. You know, you ain't, you know, to discipline a child for something that they have no idea why you are doing it, and it's more of an inner, it's a different kind of issue. That
Okay.
I'm just pointing out a group that you know that had that, and you should probably say another approach got to be used here. You know, especially if somebody peed on the bed, they sleep. How can they mean malice and forethought? I'm gonna pee on this bed because this is a nice mattress. Blah 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 blah. When you gonna pee on your bed for? You better dry out before you can lay in it the next night. So those things that don't make no sense to beat a child for, especially if they're confused about their sexuality, that's deeper than what you think it is. You know, it ain't just you gonna beat them and then they gonna stop. They feel in some kind of way.
Okay, parents. Listening to what coach is saying is valid information, yes. Um and I can see why it would be something that would not benefit the child. The only reason I would say that the child need to be punished is if they continue to do it months and weeks and years or whatever on end. The first 2 or 3 times or the first few times or the first couple of months of doing it, then you want to talk to the child and find out what it is and explain to them why that should not be. And they're big enough to go to the bathroom, blah, 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 that type of thing. But after it occurs over years and you're still wet in the bed, okay, then there's a problem. I think at that point it should be some type of discipline or something, or some type of doctor or somebody you need to go see about this boy or this girl wet this bed like this.
Yeah.
It should not be left unnoticed. It should not be left uncared about. It should not be left unaddressed because that's a problem. You're gonna be 15 years old and still wet in the bed? Oh no!
But see,
What
if
kind of
you
girl you gonna get at 15 and she find out you wet in the bed?
was, you know, that's like breastfeeding, boy. They getting older and older. So, but those psychophysical dilemmas exist, and now more than ever, I think children Now it's probably past the time where you can take a child's cell phone and not create some psychological issues, because cell phones now are like an arm, a leg, an organ in the body. So you
Okay.
probably, got to do some other stuff. And now the cell phone is about safety, knowing where your child is, So anyway, so discipline changes. What were you about to say?
I was going to say we have a couple of minutes left.
Yeah.
And we are going to have to go to another part to continue this part of the lesson because
Yeah.
we didn't even get halfway through.
No, we did.
And it's not a bad thing. All this information, folks, is good stuff. It's good information. You're getting the opinion of two parents, seasoned parents. We have grown children, and we are grandparents, so we do know a little bit of something about something.
And some people send their children to military schools. I'm in total agreement with that, because they'll be teaching things that, to me, I think is parallel to family values, and adding the disciplinary structure to go with it.
Yeah.
So I think that those schools and homes, are probably proven to be, the people that I've met that gone to them and the parents that I've talked to, they have proven to be beneficial.
Yeah, I agree with that. And so, folks, we're going to end the show for now. And the next time we'll continue with some more points to make about the conduct of our children and the importance of the fathers being in their lives. It is critical, and I can't say that enough. Fathers, all of you fathers and grandparents, especially the fathers, just know that you are needed. And it's my prayer that you will get your thoughts together, get your mind straight, focus on what you need to be doing as a father. And there's plenty of guidance out there, plenty of help out there. But most of all, fathers, I think it would be most beneficial, ain't no think in it, it will be, is to start praying. Talk to the Lord. If you don't know what to do or who to go to, then start praying about it. Talk to the Lord about it. I'm telling you, it works.
Amen.
And I'm not trying to be all religious and all sanctimonious and all that. I'm telling you what really works. And I just dare you to try it. Just try it for about 30 days and see how the Lord works things out with your relationship with your children, because you are needed. You can't just go around not taking care of your responsibility. Those babies are growing up, and before you know it, they're going to be 10 years old, 12 years old, teenagers, and you haven't seen them since they came in the world. That's not a good thing, because you need it. They need more than mom. Irregardless of what mom say, you are the father, and you know you're the father, then step up your game.
Woo.
Be the father.
All right.
Be the father. And there's
about
plenty of help to get you going if that's what you really want to do. And I pray that you do. And so we're ending this show. Let's Talk Real Life. I am your host, Nada Manning, with Coach Garrison. Coach Vernon Garrison is the co-host, and it is our pleasure to bring all this vital information to you so that you can be better parents. It's my prayer that you have a good rest of your day, rest of your week. Until next time, God bless you and stay blessed. Be encouraged.
Amen. All right. This is Awesome Radio 107.5 WECU 1570.